I'm really glad to introduce today my colleague, Dr. Jan Dincer. So, Dr. Jan Dincer is currently a junior research group leader at the University of Freiburg. His group has interest in the development of bioanalytical microsystems for various applications, including diagnostics, especially wearables, CRISPR-powered diagnostics, on-site detection, and environmental monitoring, for example. He's also an associate editor of Biosensors and Bioelectronics journal. He's got many prizes. For example, he's got the second place in Gips-Schüle Young Scientist Award for his thesis dissertation, Adolf Martens Prize in the category Analytical Chemistry, Best Paper Award 2020 of IBA Heiligenstadt, with his publication on the first CRISPR-powered electrochemical microfluidic biosensor in advanced materials. He's also, well, in short, Jan is a rising star in sensing, and he's been recognized as this by the Journal of ACS Sensors. He also likes Mexican culture. For example, he likes Mexican music. For example, he likes Natalia Lafourcade. Yeah. So today, he will have a very interesting. He will share a very interesting talk, an extraordinary talk. I think this talk will help us tremendously in our career. And please, Jan, tell us what social media got to do with science.
Thanks, Aidan, for this nice introduction, and also thanks again for this kind invitation. And also to give me the chance not to speak about this real, actually the science we are doing, but from another perspective to discuss what social media really got to do with the science itself. Because you need to also maybe understand the background. So coming out with something in social media from Germany, like a country where let's say so you will be always told to making too much of self-advertisement, and meanwhile, so that was the starting point, and meanwhile everyone tries to also started to integrate social media to their sciences. But actually you greatly introduced me, so I think we can skip this foil already, so that also to have some time for the important time. But this is actually one of my introduction slides, just to maybe show you how I am introducing myself by putting the most important stuff with some visualization of images like the journal covers, which we actually done some couple over the last 4 years or 5 years. So, and this is the most recent one in Advanced Functional Materials about wearables. And this slide actually just kind of give you how I am using the elements which also could be used for the social media sharings and postings. And this is my group, so this is also something I'm not showing you the text first, I'm giving you the picture of young scientists so that you could get the first expression, okay, look, they are really like us, so there are some mixture of young scientists and trying to do something. So by the way, this is also my group, so this is not some models that I put together, so this is our real group picture. And our group aims to develop low-cost bioanalytical systems, especially, as also Eden already said, point-of-care testing and wearables. Of course, maybe we can start directly so maybe the starting point for social media is the discussion of communication in science. And so there I found 3, for me, exciting quotes and important quotes. And actually it was a little bit also interesting to see that someone told already in 1953 about what makes a scientist. And so this is from Unrow, the book The Making of Scientists. So nothing in science has any value to society if it's not communicated, and scientists are beginning to learn their social obligations. So this discussion, which we actually having today, that many things that the scientist actually shows and proves that are working are claimed from some people that are not, that these are not true, and we are doing some evil stuff, etc. Most probably started also on that day, and this is maybe one of the most important thing that we can use against such a fake news. And so the idea is not to communicate with other scientists, which we also need to do very oftenly, but also to share these information with outside of the world who are non-scientist community. And the next thing is, of course, from Stephen Hawking, from the brief to answers to the big questions. And here, actually, he also says very, very nicely, so not to ask questions and finding answers is our role as a scientist, but obligated to communicate with the world what we are learning. So this is very important point, and of course maybe not directly related to the communication in science, but this is something which Albert Einstein told, that if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And this is maybe not directly related with the communication, but if you start to communicate with others, with non-scientists, and try to make your research as simple as possible so that they could understand it very easily, so you also have a better understanding what you are doing. This is actually also an important point, and also trains you in a level. Maybe in that point we need to also discuss what are the traditional ways. So usually we are the scientists, there are scientist journalists, but actually these are people, if you explain in a scientific language, they understand what you are telling it, what you are trying to say, and actually makes it easier for you, for the public people. And so does also the PR and press officers, which is also in this triangle. And of course, these could be communicate with each other. So we have also other factors which is going in and out. And these traditional ways are publishing the ideas, achieve results by what we are all doing, actually publications, attending conferences, doing such a webinars, or giving lectures is of course also a scientific communication. So you are speaking to your next generation scientists and try to convince them, maybe stay in academia and do great things. And of course, as I said at the beginning, so it's important to discuss with the communication with this. But this is the classical way. This is what we learn also from the basics. But today we are, and especially during the pandemic, but also increasingly during the use of internet, social media, so we are in a direct way. So nowadays, non-scientist people can easily have an access to a scientist and ask questions via social media or other platforms, or writing an email. And in that case, it's important in this new field as a scientist, so that we need to also express ourselves correctly, because we also saw during this pandemic some cases which was very critically, if scientists also not capable of explaining their results understandably, which causes some political reaction, which causes again and community reaction from the people. So that's something which we need to learn, and for this we need to understand the social media. What is it? And here I find a simple definition. This is in any digital tool allow us quickly create and share content with the public. This content could be either websites, applications, or it could be sharing text like we are doing, for example, on Twitter or Facebook or other stuff. Or it could be even powerful photos or videos, and like in Instagram and TikTok. So TikTok sounds really fancy, but nowadays you really can find, for example, how to use a lateral flow assay detecting COVID-19, how you need to make the sampling, how you need to use it, and even for it shouldn't be always funny videos or dancing some animals or etc. It could be also something really important. So actually these tools are related of their application, either could be used very informative way, or it could be used also in a funny way. And I am actually thinking both we need to have. So it shouldn't be only funny, it should be something in between. And as I said, I'm speaking to you from a country which is really, if the scientists are reluctant to use the social media, Germany is one of the actually central countries, because people are afraid to make a little bit in front line and also making some wrong claims. So this is really strict here and people are really afraid. So I can maybe at the end, if I have time, I can explain also how my story started by starting an laboratory Twitter, where my colleague actually asked me to not to share his publication, which he already published actually, but he doesn't want to put it on a spotlight. I don't know what was. So this is the background why the people are afraid. And in that case, it's also not correct to say they are all wrong, but we need to discuss why they are afraid or reluctant to use it. And here I found an interesting talk where I adapted also some points by Kim Mopp and Kim Kopp. And if you want to follow her on Twitter, so there is also the Twitter link. So first way, many people are disconformed with these belief of self-promotion. So the question is, either shouldn't the quality of my science speak to itself? So I'm doing such a great, so they need to understand it, they need to see it. Or the controversial part is, my research is not that interesting, so I'm doing just the catalysis, so who doesn't care about it? So, and this is both are wrong, because we are doing our own judgment. And the idea is share the information, give the community, and let them judge maybe some of belief. So your research is not interesting. Some you will say, okay, your research is really great, so you don't need to promote this. So I really liked it. So this is but not a decision that you need to give. Actually, this should be given by the community itself. The next thing is the danger of overselling societal relevance of results. And this we had also by the COVID-19 pandemic, where regarding the kindergartens, so the children, the spreading, so there was a preference, and that was actually discussed also very highly in Germany. So this is, and people say, should I go and make or go through such a danger by making this such a public? I just put it somewhere in a preprint and let it there. So this is something which also causes this stopping. And the next thing is, of course, we are as a scientist, you would like to have an objective image. So you need to have an objective image, and they believe so that you are losing your objective image. And this is, for example, one point which is very relevant for for German situation, which I am having here or discussing with the people. And of course, another problem that you might have and also which can cause is oversimplifying results, which means actually brings your results in an inaccuracy point of the claims that you are making. So this could be also a problem. And one of the most heard comments that I heard actually, who has the time anyway? I agree that it may take some time, but I think this is in a today's world one of our words. So if you receive a review invitation from a journal, you are also thinking, and maybe you accept one of 3 invitations, but you are doing, and this is something maybe we need to meanwhile see as a relevant part, or as a part of our work to explain ourselves. And I will go also a little bit in the last part of my talk into this detail. So let's look at the communications channel which we scientists could use. But maybe before that, why we should use it? And this is a really important point. Either you believe me or not, but this is really the thing that you need to see it as a point. So not to increase your visibility itself so that you are on the front, but to increase the visibility of your research. And this is the important part, because this leads to new ideas, collaborations, publications, and many more. And I will also give you some examples at the end, how this helped me regarding these things. And I can tell you, for example, after my sharings in LinkedIn, I also got 2 messages over some couple of years, of course. So you are not getting 10 messages, which leads to a result. But out of these 2 starting messages, I now have 2 projects in Germany which has an budget of 1 million euros. And this was really due to these sharing the ideas and connecting with these people and improving these ideas further to write a grant. So let's look at the channels. So Twitter is one of my most favoritely used channels in that sense. And here you can see my profile. So you can type your name and you can see, actually these are the actual numbers. I always put the followers and following so that you have also some feeling how often I'm using it or how successfully maybe I'm using it. And as I said, Twitter is one of the best ones. So here you have the chance, because this is a running through messages. So you have something like an CNN messages, so that you have from all over the world that you are have an abonnement, you have received new papers, preference, project calls, or scientific awards. You can share some news, or you can also make some longer threads to discuss some issues. And here you have the direct communication with other researchers, but also with the public figures. So it's possible so that you can even reach, for example, Elon Musk by tweeting something. So this is, maybe you need to put some dodge on it, but so this is something which you could do. And what you could also do, also make some polls, ask others about their opinion regarding these. Also, I will show you at the end a poll about this topic which I made. LinkedIn, which is also a very important channel for sharing information. Here you have the real chance. I don't know, of course, how it works in Mexico, but in Germany, usually the press release goes through the university, and it needs some rewriting, some improvements, so it's quite long. So you need to write 2 pages. You need to discuss with people. You need to find images, etc., etc. On LinkedIn, and this is not something, the press release is not you can do every day. But on LinkedIn, you have your own channel, and you could do your own press releases by sharing the news with images or videos. You can create, again, pools. You can search for experts. Okay, of course, LinkedIn is also good for searching jobs so that you can get also, for example, if you are looking for a position, then you get some positions regarding on that world part. I don't know if it could be USA or in Germany. And also you have possibility to communicate with scientists. Here you have also, you can reach companies, journalists, and also others. And you see here, this is also, you can see that I am using it also. This is also one of, it's actually one of the second oftenly used channel. Here you have also the chance to feature your news if you have some of these. You could, what I really like, maybe I have it there, you could see also the post views from which country, from which institute, what kind of a level. So is it a prof that is looked your message or news, so that you can have such a statistic there, and you could also see who looked your profile, how many people checked your profile. You can see them and you can also connect to them. And so you could do, you see also how many people search something and find you in search. So this is important. And maybe, which I also could agree, so if you want to share on LinkedIn something, the best time you would see it's Tuesday to Thursday. So this is something which is also I found in the internet. So, and the peak time is, of course, it's difficult. So most probably it's the 6 p.m. in Mexico is for your continent. And here in Europe, it's the same. And I have also the feeling, so after work, people are most probably look their LinkedIn. And worst time is Mondays and Fridays and also at the weekend. And they say, so one post per week, per day is good. So my preference is to share at least weekly once, some kind of, if I have had to share something to share. If I have many things in a row, then I'll also decide on weekend to share, for example, sharing about a talk, doing some or some other stuff, which is maybe not that scientific informants, just an relevant informants on a talk. Of course, another media that you could use is ResearchGate, started also from Germany. There are also others, I know. I am using this one, so I can't say this is the best, so you might also try the other ones. So again, I hear the following, so I am here following much more people than I have followers. Here, the good thing is this is more scientific. So you have here really only the scientific community, so you can share your projects, articles. If you have, for example, a non-open access publication here, the people can ask you and you can send them your publication privately. You can put even your talks preference, or you can even put your data sets meanwhile. You can, what I really like, you can ask questions to the community, which I also did in, as you can see, 4 years ago, and actually answered, and 3 years later also by myself because it was needed, so I made some measurements there. Here you have a direct connections with the scientists, and as I said, you can request their papers. Facebook, I did not use that often, but this looks like changing. So this is also something why maybe you need to be in many different platforms, not to replicate yourself, but the reach potential is different. So now I have feeling so that I have more Asian community which use Facebook, for example, like countries like India. So I have many followers at the last time. And so here you can also share about projects, articles, or other scientific output. the problem here is I have also many family members, and so the share. So you could see that my aunt congratulates me and kiss me. So it's not that even scientific, but also it's a mixture, I would say. And Instagram, it's surprisingly, which is quite getting interestingly, because you have the chance, because maybe here I need to make a little break and say, important is not always sharing your information by text. Actually, more you can reach if you have text together with some images. And this you could do very nicely on Instagram. So you can share images, short videos, so-called reels, up to 30 seconds, but you could do also longer videos by IGTV, or you can even do, for example, Aidan and I could make a live chat and also open it for the whole public to see. So you can use it also for announcements, giving interviews. Maybe this is one from Turkey, so I talk about wearable sensors, so they find me and connect me. So I made some talk about how the next generation wearables will structure our lives. You see the outreach is maybe not that high, so you see 460 people watched this some parts of it, so you don't know if the whole is written, but it's a nice act so that you could reach more people. Something which I really start also newly is the YouTube channel. Here you have the possibility, of course, sharing or do live streams of given talks, or even share interviews or animations. And meanwhile, I made also a channel there, and since I made this social media talk, this is the second time. On the first time I had no followers, and now I have already 40 followers. And here you can find all data which has some interview or animation which I done via University of Freiburg or other media. So this is the basics. So I'm good on time. So some kind of, I hope. If you let me allow you, it could be also a little bit longer, so that's no problem from my side. So now I would like to give you my strategy and some tips. This is the first point. It's always, as I said previously also, it's important to share visual stuff. I will show also some examples. It could be a video, an animation, or even an image, but don't share without any image. And the quality is also shouldn't be maybe made by a mobile phone always, but if you have the chance, maybe a screenshot at least. So try to remember the Einstein's codes and plain language for non-expert users. So I'm always, for example, practicing it on my wife so that I'm explaining her. She's not doing the same that I'm doing, so that this is for me a good practice, so that if I can explain her correctly, so I can also share this with the outside world, and it will reach more people to get their attention. I think from my side it's important to show your emotions. If you are angry, of course, not a bad words, but actually just show your emotions. If you are angry, if you are sad, if you are happy, so just don't be afraid and try to be just yourself. I know as a junior scientist, it's not easy to show the weaknesses, but maybe you don't need to do it every time, but it's important at least to do it once to show the weaknesses. And I will also share you something which I did, which is also very important. People will more interact with your post if you also interact with them. So if you answer their comments, and I'm trying, even if it's very critical message, I'm trying to answer these in a way so that they don't feel, okay, he posted something and doesn't care what the others think. So you need to also show that you would like to communicate, and not communication has two sides and not only one. It's important to use hashtag, mention other researchers, publishers to increase your reachability. As I said, if you have, for example, 3 posts for a week, and I'm really doing this strategically, so if I'm planning these in rows, so do not post 3 posts together on a day. So give the others some time to get the attention of the people, and then make the next one. So you can think it, you have an increasing interest of the people, and if it starts to bend again, so you can start with the next one. So this is the thing, and not overlap all 3, and maybe so people will think, oh, John is posting, it's every day 3 messages about his samples, so this is not, I don't like it. So it should be maybe give time also to think about these things. As I said already, scientific outcome, especially Monday to Thursday is my experience. Tuesday to Thursday is much better. Another point is how to handle criticism. So if you share something, not everyone will like your sharing. So please try to be calm and friendly. So this is the most important thing. And then try to find out what's the intention of this critic. So, because the critic also as a maybe now in a young scientist, we are very how to say it. We are really so you are also so we are very how to say it. So we would like to achieve something, and we just want to do everything, and in a short time, so we are ready to do everything. And if there is some critic, sometimes we just read it and say, there is a critic, why he is doing it. And if you answer directly, you might feel later that it was maybe not that aggressive sharing. So it was just a helpful comment, which is just you thought at that moment. So it will be maybe an aggressive message to you. So therefore, I will always, even you need time, so you can also sleep over it, so you can wait until the next day. So, but if you, on the next day, you see that's a constructive critic, so John, you did your experiments 3 times. I think statistically it would be better to make it 5 times. So you can say, thank you, I appreciate your message, and I will do it I will try, of course, in future accordingly. And this is actually, this will this is not something problematic, so you will get more likes than dislikes in that case. If the provided feedback is destructive, then it's important to understand the reason behind. Because during the pandemic especially, so there are many people who has missing information or false information. So you need to understand, and if you have the feeling that it could be in a way, so you can first try to argue against it. So because one of the other things you cannot expect from the people and say, or he has a missing information, so he's a stupid, so I don't care about him. This is also not a scientist should do. One of our goals are to teach also people and also inform them if you know something which is correct. And so the first thing is try to argue against it, but if you see the one has no intention to communicate, then don't start to discuss further, just ignore it. So if it's a mail, you could also, from my side, delete it. If it's a comment, then just ignore it and go continue by itself. Because I had once the case, so we are making some mask for detection of some stuff and some analytes, and we shared this exactly before the pandemic started and news from the university. And there was a comment below, interesting time. And I said, okay, well, so it starts again. We are the evil and the fake news, you all know. So the chips in the vaccines, etc., etc. So I don't think to discuss this, I think, at that point. So, and I said, look, we published this almost 6 months ago, where no pandemic was over. And so this is only a little bit delayed sharing news. And then the one who made these, let's say, small critics, so it was also not a big critic, said, oh, nice, but could you use this also for the COVID-19 case? So it was really not a bad feedback, so it was just an curious, and if you also give the people that you are caring about their thoughts and also argue against them, so this might also change the whole scenario. It's not always you are speaking against a wall and nothing changed. So there are really people out there who will respect your thoughts and ideas. So, and at least you need to also give them a chance. So in the final part in my talk, I would like to give some examples very briefly. So as I said, this is a new one which I changed. I think you need to we are not machines that are only working in the lab or writing some thesis or whatever. So we also have and some good times, and we need to also, especially as a group leaders or professor, we need to give these feelings to the students so that they also had the time also to also enjoy the life, maybe in a one day off in that case. And don't be afraid to share this too. So this makes you only human and not a boot. So this is important. This is, for example, one of our first publication this year, which was actually published online on the first day of the year, and I took the chance and tweeted in a way. And important is what I would like to show you, the hashtags that we are using, and also such an animation. So this visualization helps you a lot because people either like your animations and would like to use them, or also interested. So visual things always gets more into it. So you need to also see it. You are just has a mobile phone in the hand and you are just making this movement or this movement, and so you need to catch the people at the moment that they are looking there, so you don't have the second chance. As I said, you could also share some, we had a special issue on the journal wearable biosensors electronics, and here you can also share this information. Maybe I go on that way, so this is easier. But you can also get, this is an European antimicrobial resistance community, which has openings, foundings, and I believe it should be also the same in Mexico, or also because, so you see with Twitter really the real calls for the fundings very fast. And in that case, for example, they was discussing to add antifungals to the antibiotics, because this is also becoming important, and you had a chance to have also vote on this survey and change the next call's topic maybe, which makes it more proper for you. So you have also the chance to make a survey to shape the next calls. This is the one, for example, that was something which I didn't really know. So on that day, if you are there also on the social media and there is a news about you, then you will get to use it. So the editor of the ACS Sensors tweeted it with my name on it, and then I learned that I was in the list of these special issue of Rising Stars. So that was also something which comes through the Twitter. And similarly, last year I spoke to Nature Biotechnology regarding COVID-19, etc. And they also can tag you in such a list of people so that you could be reachable on such a journey. And to be honest, Cormac Sheridan, who is the author of this article, read the joint review which Aidan and I wrote together last year, and so he just see that he really liked it and also see the work on CRISPR and just want to connect. So but as I said, you can be also upset and say something. So we had a Nature journal, something waiting 26 days for the first decision. So they most probably rejected, but either sent to review. And I was really, after 26 days, a little bit angry, and I shared this with the community. And maybe here I need to also show you in the Twitter, you could show the impressions and interactions so that it reached really more than 27,000 people, and so I also shared and also asked them, and actually next day I got the decision. I don't know if it was rejected, but so that I don't think that my tweet was the reason of it. Surprisingly, for example, I would like to show you the most successful tweet. Although I show you visual elements are important, so this is one without. And the German foundation said we will extend all PhDs, extra salaries in the running projects due to the COVID-19, due to the crisis, but they did this in German. And I said, great decision, and translate the message to English, and said hopefully that others will also do it, and you could see the outreach of these methods. So that was something like that. The French people said, oh, we need it also in France. Canadian people said we need it also here with Mexican. I think, I'm not sure if Eden did this also, but that was really something which also had such a reaction, which I wasn't expected. So I was really shocked that I reached more than 120,000 people. So that was the first time. That was the Twitter case. Maybe directly on that, I will show you the same, which I did on the LinkedIn. Exactly the same message. The great decision of the German Science Foundation about the COVID, which didn't reach even 2,900 views. So this is a very poor So it depends. So in Twitter, you have really these short messages. Therefore, it's also used politically very often. So because it can really make a wave after that. And this is but just a comparison, direct comparison with LinkedIn. So I did also maybe just to show the same tweet which I did also in the LinkedIn. So you are doing always also simultaneously. So you see here, you can see, maybe just to show you how many people you can exactly, this is what I mentioned. So you could see how many people from companies or universities, what are these people, from which region these people are coming. So you know, for example, I know always if it's related to CRISPR, San Francisco is definitely somewhere there. And also you could see the video performance, how many people are, okay, now you see it's going down, of course, over the time, but you see how many minutes people saw this, and so you have really, or how many people share these message with the other side of the world. So this is something which you could really very nicely follow in the LinkedIn. Maybe another one, which for the Discover, which we published, again you can see the views, but here I just want to I really like also to make the idea that the student head was coming from Matrix. I don't know if you all could remember this film, but there was a blue and red pill story, and that was the idea of our article, the cover, and which I use the quote which is coming also from the film, and also said, are you taking the red pill and join us on this journey, on-site therapeutic drug monitoring, of course, which has nothing to do with the matrix itself. But this is again another sharing about one of the prizes that I got last year. And okay, this is maybe also important, which I would like to show you the last two, and then I will finalize my talk. Here I had applied for a director position, institute director position, and I got the first round and got the interviews, and they rejected. So that was a normal case of, so I was thinking, is it a little bit risky, but let's share it, because it's something also which I'm not, all grants that we are writing is accepted, not all papers published in the first journal that we are submitting, most probably on the 10th one or something. So it's really something, and I just said, okay, this is maybe one of my goals, and I would like to share this to my community. That was again something without any visual elements, but I got very positive feedback. So therefore, this maybe I would like to also encourage you to share also some stuff, because it makes you human. Otherwise, people think either they think you are so successful, or they think you are just doing self-promotion, and this is not the both cases. And also, as I said, to share the picture of the group, naming them, and also naming the topics that they are working on. This was also one of my successful feats. Meanwhile, I think the cover of the Advanced Functional Materials is a little bit more better. It's reached, I think, 20,000. So this is my most common reach audience. So as I said, I'm finalizing it with the last thing. I asked for this talk in both communications platforms, which you believe the most effective way to communicate in science. And it was really surprising to see that the Twitter community believes that 75 people thinks that the Twitter is the best. And if you look at the LinkedIn, so exactly the same number. Either I have both people who vote on both. This could be also a possibility, of course. And surprisingly, in both, either Twitter or LinkedIn was the second successful one, which was a little bit surprising that on Twitter people believe YouTube is more the better way to success, and I don't have any Facebook there, and here it's some kind of, I would see, but you see that was, my outreach was also not that great, so I have, I think here also 94 and here 72, so let's assume that they are really different people, so we are talking about 150 people. But so anyway, my message is please share, communicate with other scientists, but also with non-scientists. Use these medias, try them, find the best one for yourself, because this is really also depending on which one you really get used to it, like it. And also try to be active. So this is important. And you will see it will bring scientifically something. Of course, the personal way will also follow. So this is not something completely separately, but it's not our goal should be to put the personal on the front side. And I think as a scientist, again, maybe to see it, I think this is also in the time of the fake news, it's really important to be active, to reach as much people as we can, because these fake news are also spreading on these channels. And if we are there on scientists and directly react to these, if we can, of course. But if you do one, so it will help again in an overall picture. And this is, I think this will help. And sometimes I have really, it makes me really sad to discuss with people about if the Earth is a round shaped or it's a flat. So this we shouldn't do in that age, I think, and focus more important and more advanced stuff. And since this is a social media talk, you can follow me or connect me in LinkedIn, Twitter, ResearchGate, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I will try in shortly also TikTok, but this is also a little bit challenging for me, so I need to find a topic which is also scientifically. And thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to hear this. And sorry if it was too long.
Thank you so much, John, for this wonderful talk.
Thank you.
I think we all have very, very nice comments related to your talk. So
May I ask you something actually, Aiden? May I ask you something?
Sure, yeah.
Because it's also maybe just also related to that. Does our connection also has something with the social media postings to do? So that's what actually that was I would like to ask you, and now I would like to use this chance.
Yeah. This is a very, very nice opportunity to share with our colleagues in CEO. Actually, we met each other because of LinkedIn post. Can yeah. I remember you posted a paper, a review paper in Advanced Materials. The one you are co-author with my mentor, Arben. So from this point, I after that I contacted you and we met each other.
Yeah, so this is, and I'm very thankful that you did this.
Yeah. We met each other because of social media. So that's the power of social media. We started very nice collaborations with social media, and this is why I also wanted to share this moment, this talk with all the people in our research center.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Let's see if we have questions. Maybe Pablo. Yeah. If you want to talk, Pablo, that's okay.
Should I stop the screen sharing or?
Hello.
Hi, Pablo. I can't see you, but.
Okay. Hello. Good. I really like the talk. I have seen the social media of the group of Dr. Eden Morales, and they are doing a great job. But in my case, I just don't know how to start. I need to wait for some achievement. I need to wait for something. Can you give us some tips about how to start this to communicate?
Actually, that's a very good question. Since I can't remember how I started. But to be honest, actually, you don't need to wait for a news. You can already settle, for example, a Twitter account and follow people that you already like or actually interested in their work, maybe not like, so this is the wrong word in that case. I think the opportunity will come, so you will have a publication so that you could share. And for example, I don't know the state of your career. So if you are a PhD, for example, or a postdoc, so it depends. So I'm always suggesting to my students, and they are also asking also my opinion, how to share their possibilities. So I told them, if you are, for example, if you are posting your first paper, you need to definitely be enthusiastic and say, people, that's my first research paper. And maybe just one sentence about its content, and also how you feel, how you did this, and also again the image, for example, a table of content image, or you could just take a snapshot of the journal web page, so that which shows the information a little bit. You can tag there the people who are also on that paper. So this would be, I would say, you need to find out if you are more text type people, if you would like to, for example, in your own private life, if you want to take pictures, or you would like to text people. So if you are text people, then I would start definitely with Twitter, and also, if you want to at the end and higher range, then I actually prefer all these medias. It's really sometimes difficult because you need to copy and also adjust the message, for example, from Twitter, from Facebook to Twitter, because it's more shortened. So, but it's also a good challenge, because then you need to make your message much more smaller, and this is also difficult to learn. But at the end, you also practicing to describe your research or your feelings in 140 words or a little bit less. So this is, I think, also a good training. But I think this would be my suggestion, some kind of.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, you're welcome. And let me know if you are on the social media, so that I would like to also, because I'm sorry, Eden, I really have also some connections which we following me very a longer time from the beginning. And I saw now how they are get used to social media and how they are using it also. And also at the end, you learn also from the new starters, which become later also advanced users. So this is important. Sorry.
There's another question from Mariana. How much time do you recommend spending on social media?
That's a for your sharing as much as you need, because this is something from your for sharing your research and to reach more people, and this is really working. So if I'm posting something about blockchain and sensors, and scientists really reaching me and asking me, so we are working on a similar topic, could we do it together, for example? But so in that case, for a post, I need at least 15 to 30 minutes. I don't lie, so it takes time. And also sharing these overall on all media, it could take in an hour. And I really admire people like Arben. I also told him to this as well. So how fast he can share and also answer these messages. So he's also using social media definitely better than me. And regarding for your use, for example, I'm using also to see foundings, the published papers, or what Eden did, or what Fabiana did in Italy. So different people, what the others done. So for this, you need maybe 5 to 10 minutes, so not lot longer.
Thank you so much, Jan.
You're welcome.
You have big shout-outs from Sonam, from Maifer, from Vijay. Congratulations as well. Any other questions?
If you have later, then you can also contact me via these, or write me also an email. I'm happy, because this talk is some kind of it's something different than my research talks. So, and it's also important to share these as much people as I can. And I'm also learning by doing these, and also happy for your feedback.
We have another question from Sonam.
Okay.
How will you account the act of visualizing emotions in social media?
How I'm doing? Or
How will you account the act of visualizing emotions?
I couldn't get the question actually. So how I'm reacting on the people who showing emotions, or
Yeah, maybe Sonam could talk
okay.
and explain it.
So, I means how will you account that you will post emotions in social media? What type of impact it will give to the those people who are viewing your post?
Actually, if I'm sharing my own feelings, actually, to be honest, I don't know how these react. So on the case when I was so today, maybe just giving an idea. So I made a lecture yesterday, and after this lecture, I felt that I was angry because the micro wasn't good, and I need to re-record it after this webinar. So and in that case, I was angry and I was posted in some such a way. And for example, one wrote me, "Why didn't you check your micro at the beginning?" So this, you mean such a reaction? So you need to be really calm and share it. And if you, for example, unsuccessful, this really motivates people, because if I posting, so I got this prize, I got this paper, I got that one. So people think I'm a machine and just having success, which is completely wrong. And people who knows me, like Eden, knows the struggles behind. And unfortunately, we still, maybe even I am still afraid to share everything, because otherwise it could, the curve could be completely different. But maybe if after I'm getting a professor, maybe I will be more encouraging in this way. But I still would like to have to share also unsuccesses. I will definitely this year also share some rejected projects and how I felt about these. And so this is because we need to show these also to the next generation, to young generation, because otherwise they are afraid of the also science, because they think, okay, my paper gets rejected, and John and Eden published in every day. So how they do that, and so I am unsuccessful, and this is not the correct page. Actually, it's the same situation like you have the Instagram. If you look at the stories now, the whole world doing vacation, and as if no one works at work. So this is again what you want to show. So it's and we shouldn't lose the reality and gives also the next. Our idea is, as I said, not self-promotion. So the idea is to attract more people to share more with more researchers, and also get this community much bigger. So this is I think this should be the goal. Sorry, I hope that was the question. And my weakness is I'm always talking too much. Sorry.
Okay, yes, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you for your question, Simon. We have another question from Oscar.
Okay.
How would you convince old-fashioned researchers to start sharing their work on social media?
That's actually how this is actually. I think they should not ask this question. They should get an account and test it. I think, for example, I also saw many people struggled at the beginning, who were also maybe not, also maybe that was also maybe age-wise a little bit older, but after they started and saw the power of the social media, they really completely changed their mind and they learned very quickly. So I think this is a barrier which no one needs to have it on his mind. So this is maybe your first post look funny against the young, these not old-fashioned researchers, but with practicing. So we are scientists, so we are doing experimenting, and this we should do also in social media, definitely. So to learn and check.
Perfect. Any other questions? So I think they are shy. Maybe you will receive more questions via.
Okay, no problem. I didn't expect even so many questions, so I'm happy actually.
Okay. Yeah. When you posted these, let's say, yeah, these questions, Twitter versus LinkedIn. I remember I mentioned that, for example, in LinkedIn you can reach people from China, you can reach people from Iran, for example, and maybe other countries, but you cannot reach people from these countries using Twitter.
That was actually a really good quote, and I always forget the countries in which the Twitter is banned, and therefore I'm always keeping it to myself. But thank you for saying it again. So so that was also I think if we are working with Hamed, for example, who is from Iran, so he can't read the Twitters. And even in Turkey, Twitter is very fragile depending these ideas. So on a way, LinkedIn is very safe, while actually it's out of politics mostly. So this is, and I think this is a very good point too.
Yeah, thank you. So if we have no more questions, probably this is the end of this talk. Thank you very much, Jan, again for this fantastic talk. Very, very interesting and very useful, tremendously useful for our careers as researchers. Thank you so much.
Hope so. And I would like to thank you to introduce me with mezcal. I can't speak it right, most probably. This nice Mexican drink, which I cannot pronounce it, most probably. And regarding that, I will also share it with very soon, I think.
Perfect.
About the science. Thank you very much, Eden.
Thank you so much for this wonderful time.
I wish you a great day in Mexico, and
thanks
you for inviting me again.
Any final comments, Laura?
No, I only want to thank you for such a great talk. I think we learned so much, and it's not only all the stories you told us about and the examples. For me, the examples were just great.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Laura. Laura, are you opening a Twitter account?
I'm going to ask. And I was going to say, after we talk like that.
So, but it's really it was really I was in the Twitter account I made from our lab, and in that case, if I ask people at the first time, I felt myself like a witch who gets to be burned, asking them something which is completely, so it was, and it was really funny. A month later, they started to send me their table of content images and also Twitter things with hashtags, etc. So they started also to use it because, but the a little bit sad thing is they think this is now some trend and everyone will follow it. But really, the idea should be to share. So this is my message. and reach people like Eden or also Viach. I saw him also in another talk as well. So also Laura. So it's really important for me to make these people, this connection, this network much bigger and reach as much people as we can. So this is also what is science there, in my opinion. And with thank you very much again. And if you don't stop me, I will talk until tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I think Vijay, did you say anything?
Okay.
Hello. Hi, Professor. This is Vijay from India. Yeah, we met in finance.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So I just wanted to share, this is like a success story of the social media. Like we connected over social media, a professor shared a link, and I attended his talk today.
Okay, yeah, that's also exactly these examples. So this is also sharing talks. This is very important. So I really hope that these cries. So I see, for example, now, I know one name, Mariana Aviela. I think she has also a Twitter account, which I'm also, I think in your group, right, Eden? So you made the group, yeah. So I know some names are coming together. So I hope that these will be a great network, and so we will collaborate, maybe do some stuff, maybe not directly, but over a time. So this is also the idea, to connect, not to do something directly, maybe to wait until the time, so that there's an perfect time and a good idea to collaborate. Oh, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate all the organizers of the seminar. We are really.
I'm also very happy and hope to one day visit you in Mexico. So that's also.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, after this pandemic, so hopefully. So I was once in Cancun and visit Merida, and it was really great places. Oh, so
Fantastic. Beautiful places from Mexico. Yeah.
yeah, so definitely it's a great country. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Bye.
So, bye. Thank you very much.
And have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.